Come along with me on the Skye Trail, 8 days of walking in scenery like this. We're back on another trail, and behind me is the famous phone box that marks the start of the Skye Trail. Yep, on the Isle of Skye, walking the length of the island. And the weather today is absolutely brilliant. Perfect weather for the start of the trail. I cannot tell you how wonderful it feels to be back walking again. Here we go. First few steps. It's a beautiful sunny morning. Fantastic views on the bus up here. Itching to get going. It's going to be brilliant. So there you've got the line of the mountains of the Hebrides and incredibly clear view. Oh, this was worth it, the journey alone, just for this part. This is magical. So this section of the path involves a lot of switchbacks, as we follow the line of the cliffs. And this is a particularly deep switchback with particularly high cliffs, so it's going to demand concentration. Here we go. Wow, so this section of the path, what is it, 1 metre wide? And down there, oh, beautiful cool dip in the sea. Okay, so it's mid-afternoon on the first afternoon, and we've stopped for a break by an old RAF radar installation on the cliff tops. I want to just swing round and show you the kind of views that we're enjoying along the cliff tops right now. I've got to say, this is a brilliant introduction to the Isle of Skye and the Skye Trail. The weather is simply perfect. I know it's going to get worse later on in the week, but for now we're just making the most of it. I cannot fault the weather and the scenery and the atmosphere. Okay, so after quite a long time walking along the cliffs and then along the road section. We've arrived at this amazing spot for a wild pitch, so time to get the tent up. Here we go. Right, there we are, all done, set up for tonight. Good morning. So we've woken up to a blissful morning. Can you see the sun catching the cliffs of the Quang up there? Beautiful sunrise. It was quite a still night, and the path follows underneath those cliffs apparently. We're at the upper lake now, glistening in the early morning sunshine, and we can still just about see in through the notch the lake where we pitched last night. Now, I need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the weather forecast. Tonight, in the early hours, and tomorrow night, we can expect extremely strong winds with very powerful gusts. With the best wind in the world, too much to ask of the tents to be camped on top of the ridge in those forecast conditions. So the plan is today to carry on in order to buy us some flexibility and choice about where we choose to pitch, really for safety's sake really. Right, so that's us at the roadhead at the Quang, and we've stopped off at a fantastic burger van, the hot cup of tea, run by Jamie. So thank you to Jamie, the fantastic burger and hot cup of tea. We're ready to go again. The wind's picking up noticeably, and we're off. Up there! Woo! Whew. So as we gain elevation, the wind is picking up. When we're got a bit of shelter, it's not too bad at all. When it's exposed, it's quite gusty and strong. And this is the path that we're heading up to the top of the next hill. But, so that's where we come from, the Quang, and we've made it to the top of the next hill. I'm not going to even try and pronounce the name. This is the 360 panorama. That's the, over in the distance is the mountains of Torrin, and then there's a view across towards the Storr, and that's the next hill we're going to go up. Dramatic cliffs here, and then we've got a view across to the sea and towards the Hebrides again. So that's all. Lovely, I was going to say sheltered, but just as I said that, there was a gust of wind, so relatively, shall we say, sheltered bend in a tiny little brook, which is suiting us fine. We've had plenty of time to get the tents really well pitched, ready for a windy night ahead. So time for I think it's going to be chicken fajita with rice tonight and a mug of tea. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It's 10 to 7. I know, ridiculously early, but we've got quite a big day on the ridge ahead, so it's an early start to give ourselves plenty of time to complete that. And wow, how the weather has changed outside. It's been breezy and fresh still, but with some scattered little light showers, and it's going to get more windy and wet as the day goes on, I expect. But a good night's sleep for sure. This spot was a really good find, and the Sligachan stood up really well in the gusty wind, so I'm quite impressed with that. So we've had breakfast, and now it's the sad task of packing everything away and stepping out of this nice, warm, cozy, dry environment into the wild outdoors. Right, 7:20, all packed up. No trace that we've been here. And time to head up onto a very windswept and cloudy ridge. Here we go. Okay, so I've got the natty headgear on, and that can only mean one thing. It's windy and cold. So we're just about on, so we regained the ridge now, and we're heading up that thing in the cloud. It's extremely windy and gusty now we're on the ridge. So I don't think I've been doing much videoing, so excuse me. We'll try and get a few shots as we go up. That's Lucien doggedly carrying on. And our next hill is up there. It's just disappeared into some cloud. But we are getting some views. When we drop down beneath the cloud level, it's quite stunning. Unfortunately, that's not very often. We've had some incredibly strong gusts of wind coming over the ridge. It must have been 30, 35. And so we've been making very slow progress, taking it very careful. The wind chill, according to our little device, is -3, I think. So we're just keeping going. But this is an amazing ridge walk. Even without the views, it's fantastic and very exhilarating. Right, quick update. It's an amazing ridge. Lots of ascents and descents, just a few hundred feet each time. But it's being made a lot tougher because the wind is buffeting us. It's so strong, so we're getting pushed off balance constantly. So it's quite hard walking, just keeping your balance and going up and downhill. So it's breaking the clouds, so let's bring you an update. That's the next lump. We don't have to do that, it's a bit of a detour for the view. We probably won't in this wind, but the next one is up there, poking into the cloud. near the top parcel now. Keeps knocking you off your balance. Really hard going uphill. Okay, so that's the end of my third day on the Skye Trail. We have, after about an hour of looking, lucked into a very secluded stealth camp spot, which is well out of the wind and nice and private. Right, so that's all for today. A fantastic day, but very, very tough.
Good morning. Monday morning. I don't know if you can hear that. I suspect you probably can. And that is the sound of hail this morning. Let me show you under the tent fly sheets. So certainly it was a good wake-up call this morning. So it's time for some breakfast. I got coffee brewing, and that's hopefully it's just a shower passing over. Well, a great start to the day. I think I might stay in my sleeping bag a bit longer and see if this passes over.
Hail this morning, but looks like snow overnight as well. It's just sliding off the foot of the tent there, but we know for a fact it was snowy because that is the Storr covered in snow. How about that? Okay, so we're on the path again and we're dodging snow and hail showers this morning, but over in the distance it's slightly brighter. Behind me the Storr is still covered in cloud and snow showers, so I think it's going to be the story of the day. Hopefully today's a bit easier than it was yesterday. Right, this should be the last hill of today's walk up to a trig point, and it's surprisingly steep. Hopefully as we come over the top we'll see views down to Portree. It never is the top, is it? And after a strong day's walking up a beautiful ridge, here we are at last, just turned the corner to be met by the nice coloured houses of Portree. Beautiful sunny morning coming out of Portree. Instead of the sound of traffic and people and the noise of the town, all of a sudden we're back into bird song and the wind and a bit of peace and quiet. So the good news is the gorse flowers are lovely bright and this yummy air, and the bad news is that we've reached a section where the gorse bushes are overgrowing the path, and so there's lots of scratching and swearing as we squeeze our way through them. All right, so that's the path that we just came through, with the gorse bushes overhanging it and going very scratchy. And this is the path we should have taken, which is clear and smooth and easy going. We're getting a few snowdrops coming down at the moment, despite the deceptively blue sky. But this is a great spot because here in the distance you can see the Storr, old man of Storr, and the Storr. You can also see the ridge that we came up along yesterday and the drop down into Portree. So we've been following this quite pleasant single track country road for a few miles now, just going over a crest, and we're about to, I think, lose sight of the Storr and the Trotnish Ridge as we drop down into a new valley and a new landscape. Right, so we've nearly reached our planned camp spot for this evening. It's just going to be round the corner with a bit of luck, and we're going to be underneath the Cullins, quite close to Sligachan, the bridge and the hotel. Right, we've arrived, and this is where we're going to be pitching. There's a couple of other backpackers there. Beautiful waterfall, so lovely source of fresh water, and a lovely view up the sea loch. Oh, good morning. Well, last night was a chilly one. This is the thermometer in the other tent. We're at about 1 degrees inside the tent this morning, so certainly dipped below zero outside, and there was a bit of ice on the fly sheet as well this morning, so that would explain why I was a bit chilly in the night. Right, so that's us all packed up in the sunshine, gave the tents a bit of a airing and a dry. As always, leaving no trace, and we're going somewhere up along that valley there towards the coast. Off we go. So we just passed by the Sligachan bridge and hotel. There's a horde of people visiting the spot and checking out the bridge and the scenery. And we're 50, 100 metres away now, and we've totally left them behind already. So we've left Sligachan behind now, and we're well into the walk up the Glen. Beautiful scenery surrounding me, and it's a classical glacial valley, nice U shape. Sun's out, gentle warm breeze. Well, the Skye Trail isn't all like this, but this has got to be one of the highlight sections. On the map it looks fairly straightforward, just a nice, easy to follow path that pretty much in a straight line down the valley. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got a perfect weather for it, but the path is fantastic. And the hills, mountains to either side are just amazing. Still a little bit of snow on the tops. Brilliant. A lot of things have come together to let me enjoy this. I'm feeling very lucky to be here right now. This is what walking and wild camping is all about. This is it. We've made it to Camasornery Bay. What an excellent place this is. So we've got the mountains in the background and swing round. Okay, so after a quick stop and to check out the bothy, we're going to carry on for another mile or two. It's glorious weather for walking, so why not? And now the path has changed in atmosphere quite a lot because it's now a coastal path winding its way with the sea on our right. Right, we have been hugging a rather vertiginous cliff-top path for what seems like hours, but finally came around yet another headland and got this nice cove in front of us. So we're going to go down, check it out. So after an interesting cliff-top walk, we have arrived at possibly the nicest pitch ever on this little beach. So we're going to put up my tent. This is my idea of this. A nice cold stream to soak my feet in. Beautiful, warm, still evening. And I'm looking out. Let me show you the view. Got a nice, calm bay here with some beautiful places to pitch the tent. So this, thank you, Skye Trail. This is excellent. It's morning and we've woken to the sound of rain on the fly sheet of the tent. It doesn't sound particularly heavy and it's not too windy either, which is one thing, but it's cool. Inside the tent apparently it's about 7 degrees, so I don't know, 3 or 4 degrees outside perhaps. But the good news is that apparently in the next village we pass through there's a cafe and a shop. Yes, so that's a good incentive to get going. But for now I'm just staying in my sleeping bag, listening to the sound of the rain on the tent and really not wanting to get out. Oh, well, it's got to be done, hasn't it? Right, so that's us all packed up. Rucksacks loaded, ready to go, leaving no trace of where the pitch was last night. That island on the horizon is the Isle of Rum. And it's a kind of overcast, breezy, damp morning, but we'll warm up when we start walking, and the next stop is the village of Elgol. So I think we're just about to lose sight of these magnificent mountains behind us as we turn the corner and head into Elgol. That section this morning was very painfully slow, tortuous, as we zigzagged and up and down across the top of cliffs. The views were amazing, but you didn't really want to take your eye off the path because you had to pay very careful attention to where you were putting your feet. But you know, every now and again stopping and looking back at the view behind us is amazing. Right, we found a lovely shop at Torrin at Elgol, and these rolls, they're lobster filled rolls, are gorgeous. This is not exactly lightweight, so ignore that, and a bit of chocolate, and we're set for the next stretch to Torrin. Right, the waterproofs are on again as we climb up out of Elgol. Now, Elgol is a good place. There are two reasons that will make Elgol a good place. Number one, possibly the best public toilets ever. Brand new, clean, a wonderful facility. So thank you, the citizens of Elgol, for that. And the other thing that was really good was the little shop and also the teas and coffees that's attached to the village hall. Really nice cup of coffee and really nice stop, some food and treats. A nice chat with the lady running the shop as well. We bought some rolls filled with lobster rolls. A bit indulgent, a bit extravagant, but really tasty. And when I went in actually to buy some more, it turns out that the lobster had been caught just yesterday, came in overnight from the boat that the lady's father was running, he's a fisherman. Her mum had cooked the lobster overnight and made the fresh rolls this morning. So no wonder they tasted really good. So we're now full of lobster, coffee and tea, and with a spring in our step. But it's just as well, because I think the next few miles is going to be road walking and it's raining again. The forecast says it's going to carry on like this for another 24 hours. Excellent. Yes, that stone does say path. And just about the guidebook mentions it, otherwise we would not have noticed. And that takes us off down here, down towards the sea again. I think I could safely say this is not the best day of the trail, but Isle of Skye, it's only inevitable you're going to get some rain at some point, and we seem to be getting it all today. It's fairly non-stop. So that's the kind of not so good news. The good news is that the town of settlement of Torrin is there, which apparently has a tea room, and also we spotted a spot where we can potentially wild camp tonight, and it doesn't look too far away. It looks quite promising. So desperately looking for the positives in this cold and wet road walking section. So we could have taken a path that would follow around the shoulder of a hill rather than sticking to the road, but because the weather's so wet and tricky underfoot, we decided to stick with the road. It's all well and good, but it's not very interesting walking. And the road has to go around the head of a loch, and it seems to be taking forever. Got a bit more of a smile on my face now, despite the fact that the rain is harder than before, because we've just stopped for tea and cake at Torrin at a place called Amy's Place. Thoroughly recommended. And now we've just got a short while to go until tonight's pitch. Right, excuse the sound of the sheep in the background, but we're camped at the bay, setting up the tents. Still chucking with rain, so I'm going to get in, get myself sorted out in the warm and dry. Oh, it's the last morning of the trail, and it stopped raining about an hour ago. It literally rained all night, so everything's packed up. We left absolutely no trace. We were here as usual. And now we've got a section, last section around the coast. I keep getting interrupted by sheep. Be quiet, I'm trying to talk. This path up onto the cliffs again is a really big path, very easy and pleasant walking. And this morning, looks like it's brightening up, it's getting a bit warmer. Looks like we might get even some sunshine, which would be handy for trying out all the gear that got soaking wet yesterday on that long road walk. Right, so because we're on the final day of the trail, it's a good time to just reflect on the Skye Trail as a whole, and I have to say it's been one of the best trails I've walked. Extremely enjoyable. I've had good company, which has helped for sure, but the path itself is really good. It's challenging at times. You really got to be able to wild camp to complete the trail. The southern section, for sure, you could use bed and breakfast accommodation, but the northern section, and in particular the Trotness Ridge, it would not be prudent, I don't think, to try and do that without having a tent with you and facilities to stop if you need to. Certainly this time of year is a good time, so we're talking late April, and that's because it's still early enough in the year that the midges are not yet a factor. But that does mean that because it's still April time, the weather is very changeable. So we've had the whole lot. We've had sunshine, we've had snow and hail, we've had gales, we've had heavy rain. So you need to be sort of equipped to deal with a very big range of conditions. But by and large, it's a fantastic trail. The scenery is unbelievably beautiful, and just to immerse yourself in that for a week or so, that's fantastic. So we're now at the abandoned or ruined village of Portree. Behind me is a typical house, still with the window nipples in place. Slightly eerie feel to the village ruins, to be honest. So we're just going to pass through and keep going. Another point of note, as of now we've been walking on the trail for exactly 1 week. So we've still got just a few miles to go, and you probably won't pick it up on the video, but a cuckoo, you can hear a cuckoo in the background, and we've been hearing cuckoos regularly all the way since, I don't know, it seems like Portree, or perhaps even before then. I'm not sure it's the same cuckoo been following us and taunting us, but it's starting to drive us nuts. So we've practically completed the climb up. It's quite a nice continuous path, not too steep. And this is when we say goodbye to the south coast of Skye, and we're going to be heading over the top, and hopefully we'll be seeing the north coast from Broadford quite soon. I think it's probably quite revealing about how a path and how a trail has been, how you feel when you approach the end of it. You know, because I must admit, part of me is a bit sad that we're getting to the end, because it's been such a nice adventure. So I guess that's a good sign in a way. We're into the last mile or two now, and the path that we've been coming down, it's the perfect path. It's grassy, smooth and downhill. It's actually the course of an old railway, so it's got a nice constant gradient, no nasty surprises. It's a lovely way to end the trail. So here we are in Broadford. We made it after 85 miles. What an adventure, what a trip, what an experience, what amazing scenery, different kinds of weather, different kinds of walking. A fantastic journey. So I hope you enjoyed it as well.